What you know about the future of the past? I'm stitching up the sutures so they last. Put a morph on the kick drum, hit one, dial it in the mod, do the math. A monster I launched from the swamp, wade in the water but was made for the top. All to the altar, I never fade, never falter. I push waves till the eardrums pop. With Basimilus from the beginning, I'm skinning any kids in the vicinity, spinning for fences and not innings. Spinning this litmus that liquefies feelings, cause I'm fit to be killing it solo, I never divide winnings. So many lights but no stars, cameras pointed at black tar. I opened up the game like a star, and they're still upstream, I'm too far.
Okay, hey, it's Andrew Huang. Quick explanation, this video was filmed over the course of a couple years because every time I had the opportunity to travel somewhere for work, I would also try and make some time to hang out with someone local who is as addicted to synthesizers as I am. It's not a problem, I can stop anytime I want to. But I have all this fun stuff that I've vlogged and never shared before, so I thought I'd roll it all into one video where we'll meet some people who create their own really interesting instruments. We'll check out a workshop where I got to build a synth, and also, while the pandemic is still a thing, it was just a way that I could kind of still make a travel vlog. So that's nice. Plus I have all this music to share that was made using the instruments you're gonna see in this video. So let's start with the track that I played you at the beginning. It's called Basimilus, and I actually named it after one of my favorite Eurorack modules ever, Noise Engineering's Basimilus Iteratus Alter, which made the main bass and drums in that song. So let's go meet the team behind it. I was flown out to LA for this sponsored thing that we finished shooting yesterday. I've just got a couple hours right now before my flight, and I happened to get in touch with Noise Engineering, who, they're based in LA. I didn't even know that, but they invited me over, so I'm gonna squeeze in this little visit before I fly out. Hi. I emailed these guys yesterday. And now here we are, jamming and chatting.
I used to work in video games, and my neighboring office was a sound designer who had recently gotten into Eurorack. This is 6-7 years ago at this point. Just being who I am, I started sort of critiquing all of the modules, being like, that should really do that, and whatever. And so my friend basically said, well, if you know so much about this, why don't you make me a module? So I did. And that actually ended up being our first module we sold, the Adirac Transitron, which is just an oscillator that makes the Atari sounds. Sometimes we're given ideas by people.
Sometimes we just throw ideas out there and say this doesn't exist, or I really want this in my case.
This is the Field Kit. It's also 2 rubber bands. The Field Kit is made by Koma Elektronik, and it's a cool little device. First of all, super awesome wooden enclosure. It even smells so good. And what it's great at is bringing together sounds from all different domains, interacting with your environment and your other gear and the radio, and it gives you tools to play with those sounds. I managed to catch Koma's head honcho when I was in Berlin for Ableton's Loop conference. I had one extra day in the city, and he had just gotten back from Portugal but was about to leave for Japan, so we had just enough time to get together. He is such a wonderful man. Here is the little chat we had.
I'm just not used to myself so tanned, just from
all that Portuguese sun.
Oh, all that sun.
So I'm here with Wouter from Koma Elektronik. Tell us about what you do here.
We make musical equipment. We build stuff.
Do you have a philosophy about what kind of stuff you want to make?
Stuff that inspires people to make cool stuff. Pieces of equipment that really give you a very direct control over whatever you're doing.
That's a good way to put it. Also, your stuff is really open-ended. Like, it's really the musician decides what they want to do with it.
But you want to make sure that when people are using the equipment, that they can really dive in and also make maybe connections that are not so obvious.
You design everything here, you build everything here.
Yes, and we also have a little shop, so people can come here to design and build their own stuff or build kits.
Well, thanks for having me over and good luck with everything.
Thanks a lot.
Oh wait, I see this sign. This is where we're supposed to go. We're in a random building in Berlin looking for a synth workshop. Marty's dropping me off. The camera's really shaky. Shaky. This was the workshop I mentioned. It was held at a shop called Patchpoint in Berlin and was led by Peter Blasser, who makes really unique synthesizers under the name Ciat-Lonbarde. This workshop was for one of his simpler designs, the Tocante. And I say simpler, but that's a relative term when you're dealing with Peter Blasser because all his synths have these strange internal connections that lead to all kinds of unpredictable behavior. The Tocante is this solar-powered block. It's very sensitive to touch, and you can even play it by breathing on it. So this workshop was super fun. We admired Peter's beautiful circuit designs and zoned out with soldering irons and successfully deciphered his charming build instructions. It was a lovely afternoon, and here's the first track I made with my Tocante.
I feel it coming on. They're invited in the throne. Dissolve into the ground. So done, so gone. I don't feel.
Yeah, it's working. Yeah.
That's the nodes from
I think the title of this video is gonna be I'm Addicted to Synthesizers. So YouTube flew me out here to give a talk, which I am excited about, but I have a bit of extra time, so I'm gonna go meet up with someone who builds his own synths and other kinds of music devices.
Tracy. How you doing?
Take care. So I'm here with Michael Rucci. I found Michael's devices on Etsy years and years ago, probably when I was just looking for clothes. He makes these electronic devices.
My goal has always been to try to do stuff that you can't readily get at a music shop. This is a 16-step sequencer. This is like what they call this, like a perf board. All the traces are soldered by hand. I'll usually do this as like a test first, and then I'll do one in like on the computer, like usually just use like Photoshop, and then make a negative, and then you can use that to print onto a copper board, and then you get a PCB like this one. So I started making these, and I'd have a bunch around, and then I want to keep making them, but I don't need any more myself.
Right.
So it's like, why don't I put it on Etsy and see if anybody actually buys one? They went pretty quick, and now it's kind of as fast as I can make them. got into synthesizers by doing the Forest Mims step tone generator. Yeah, if you're trying to get into DIY electronics, put one of those together because it's super easy and there's a million schematics out there. It's like a couple dollars in parts.
Did you decide to make devices that were kind of specific to what you wanted to make musically, or were you just kind of experimenting?
At first it was really just that, just doing something for fun that I thought it was cool. I don't even know if it's really like music, but it's like just enjoyable to mess around with and play.
That's something that I've been discovering myself lately, is like growing up I had such a focus on writing songs, and you know, I still love a great, well-constructed song, but then I would find myself just with a guitar pedal and a sampler or something, and I could spend an hour just enjoying sculpting sounds, and it didn't have to be something that I was going to put a ribbon on and present to an audience or anything, but it was just cool to play with.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. The act itself is like the enjoyable part.
Awesome. Well, thanks for chatting, Michael Rucci. I will put his link below, and I will make some music with this thing right now. I am at the airport headed back home, and
Singapore Airlines flight SQ31 with direct destination to Singapore.
and I'm gonna go do some more synth stuff at home. Testing the EQ with some white noise. Works perfectly. So satisfying. Yeah. In Canada, nobody knows if you should pronounce it solder or solder because we're so close to America, but we've got our Commonwealth connection. Anyway, if you do a bit of this, you can save quite a bit of money on modules, and it's also just like a fun Saturday afternoon activity. I'll link to everybody I featured in the description. I'm just really excited to highlight these people. I'm very inspired by them because they just make things, you know? As you've seen, it's really small teams or sometimes just one person who had ideas for instruments that they thought could exist and just manifested them. And they're really cool, and they're fun for for people to play with in the world now. Oh, I gotta call my mom. So I definitely feel a kinship with them as someone who is, you know, finding my own weird path with music as a career. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.